Okay, thank you everyone for coming. A lot of chasnas this week. People cramming it in before the Avelis of the Sphira sets in. Right? And then the restriction gets lifted after Lag Baimer. Right? And it's very interesting. Chasnas, you know, being usher during the first half of the Yomer, when we don't feel yet the connection to Torah, like we spoke, and we'll yet explain in more series, as opposed to by Lag Bomer, that's when it's mutter to get married, because we start feeling a connection to Torah, because Torah and Matan Torah in particular was called marriage. That's very right, correct. So you said that Chazal started on the pasuk on in Shir Hashem, Yom Chasanasa Zu Matan Torah. Day of his marriage, Matan Torah. But in the speaking of chasana per se, and I was inspired to this word because I attended a chasana this week. All right, the Gemara says in Brachas Daf Vav that if you're you're misameach chasan v'kal, you're zochel chamisha kolos. Kasaso, kol simcha, kol chasan v'kal, kol mrim hodu es Hashem. From the pasukim in Navi. Okay, so you're zoch chamisha kolos. Well, what do you get? What do you get if you're zoch chamisha kolos? You're zechel l'Torah. Shnitna b'chamisha kolos. And counts the kolos in Parshas Yisro, and it counts up 5.
Can I get chamisha chumshi Torah?
It counts up 5. The Gemara asks why, but it's also, it should be 7. No, there are kolos that were a prelude, to Matan Torah, but Torah was given with chamisha kolos. Zechel Torah shnitna b'chamisha kolos. All right, so without getting into the din of Kol and the din of Chamesh, right? But there's this. We say that Matan Torah is like the Simcha of Chasan V'Kala. Right? Another Chazal that echoes this idea is in the actually 2 Chazal. That it's actually one is a continuation of the other. Right, that the pasuk says Torah tziva lanu Moshe morasha kilas Yaakov, inheritance onto kilas Yaakov. Al tikrei morasha ela ma'orasa, and it's like through the Torah we're married to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And then and the Chazal go on and say that was part of the Moshe Rabbeinu's cheshbon to break the luchas. Right, because I guess the luchas were like the ring that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave us to be mekadosh us. Said, listen, I want Am Yisrael to have a din, and therefore on that scale, avodah zarah is like adultery. So Moshe Rabbeinu was saying, I want Am Yisrael to have a din of a penuya, not a din of an eshes ish. So he didn't give the luchas to Am Yisrael. He broke it, as it were. The collar never got the ring, as it were, and therefore we're like a penuya shezinsa, like a single girl that has nus as opposed to a married woman. Right, meaning again, for the fact that Matan Torah and how it finalizes with Nesinas Haluchas, that's all called marriage, right? And it's Roylis Bonin, so that means that Sfiras Omer and if Matan Torah cross over with marriage, it means Sfiras Omer also must somehow cross over. Right. So now, before we get to our parsha, right, there's a famous kasha all the Rishonim deal with. Each one says his own teretz, and that says that by Sfira someone says Usvat Chemocher Sheva Shabbosos Tivatzir Tispru Chamishim Yom, count 50 days. Back on one in the pasuk, count 50 days. How many days do we actually count?
49.
Only 49.
There's a
Okay. All right, the Rishonim already dealt with it. Everyone. All right. All right, the Torah said Tispru Chamishim Yom, and we only count 49. Right, so Rashi and Chumash says you have to really Shabbos Shvius Tispru, and then break out the Chamishim Yom V'Kat Mincha Chadash El Hashem. All right. Why don't we count the 50th day? Why do we have to do backflips to somehow work out the psukim that the 50th day wasn't really meant to be counted? All right, the Torah says to count it. Why don't we count
It
it?
says Sheva Shabbos, so that's 49.
Yeah, but it says Chavishim Yom. I'm not. It's not. You're right. If we just said Shabbos, I would have made the cheshbon of 49. Whereas it says Tispro Chavishim Yom. We crafted in Chachadash al Hashem.
No, it's a contradiction within the psukim itself.
No, so it's contrary to Psukim. No, you're right. You're right. Right. And we're going to answer that. Everything that you're raising that's really asked as a contradiction between the
But
Psukim.
we find other places, we find 40 Malchus, and we did
So that's one of the
49.
terutzim. The Rosh says that the Torah always speaks in round numbers, right? So the Rosh, I think, says that. Is it either Rosh or the Ran? It was somebody sure would say that, right? Right. All right, but we're going to say. I mean, we'll say our own Be'ez Hashem. All right. So now we come to our parsha. Right. Right. The pasuk says Kedoshim Tiyu, Ki Kadosh Ani Hashem Mekadisha. Kadosh Ani Hashem. Right. Right. You should be holy because I'm holy.
Right.
I am Hashem. So seemingly, the literal ring of the pasuk would be that it's sort of similar to how the Torah said, to emulate Hashem in all His ways. Ma'u rachum afatar rachum. Let's say, be holy because I'm holy. You should be like me. Right? Yes. You would think that Kedoshim Tiyu would be like another sniff, right? Another branch of the mitzvah of balachta b'drachav, as Rav said, to imitate the mitzvah of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, just like He is rachum, you're also rachum. He's mal bisharum, you also, etc., etc. Right? But the medrash on that pasuk says like this: Kedoshim Tiyu, Ki Kadosh Ani, for I'm holy, for I am holy. Yochol Kamoni, Talmud Loimar Ani Hashem, Kedushasi L'mala MiKedushaschem. And that which pasuk says of Ani Hashem, don't even think it. You're not going to be the same like me, never. So even though so you should be holy. Kamoni Ani Hashem, Kedushasi L'mala MiKedushaschem. So it goes seemingly against the grain of the pasuk, the way it's read in the most straightforward manner. Be holy like HaKadosh Baruch Hu is holy, like Mahu Rachum Afatar Rachum. We asked the Rosh Yeshiva Zichron Baruch Hu, Yaakov Weinberg, about this. They said, Enochanami, from this medrash you see that the midah of kedusha is not like chesed. It's not, because over there it says Mahu Rachum Afatar Rachum. You could imitate HaKadosh Baruch Hu's chesed mamish, right? But by Kedusha not. This midah called Kedusha, it's not shaykh. You should do whatever you can, but it won't be kamoni. As opposed to Rachum v'chanun and Malbush Arumim, it could be mamish. Whatever we see God do, we can imitate. Right? I mean, maybe you could do more, but we could imitate wherever we see, but not by the midah of Kedusha.
Can we get a quick definition of Kedusha?
Oh, that's the whole point. Right? That is the crux of of what we're going to talk about. Right? What is Kedusha? Right? The Mesilas Yesharim, right? In the Shara Kedusha, in the very last midah of the book, is probably the shortest parak in the book, because there's not that much to say about it. It's the final parak, right? And he says, listen, this midah is tchilaso bidei adam, sofo bidei shamayim. Right, it's right. Don't lo mi baya, right? That you can't be, kaddish like God is. Even our madreg of kedusha, we can only try and strive. HaKadosh Baruch Hu has to finish it off for you. That's what he writes. So we could try, to be Porish Min HaRayis. We could try to immerse ourselves, have the mind just occupied in Dvarim Shel Kedusha, right? But the midah of Kedusha has to be granted from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. There's no straight line. It's not like it's 5 miles that way, go 5 miles, you'll get there. Right? All the other midas tovas, you could make a roadmap to get there, the steps along the way until you finally reach your destination. Kedusha is not that way. Kedusha is not a destination, right? Yashar, Tishal Shama, It's mamish like that. It's mamish like getting directions from an Israeli. Yashar Yashar Tishal Shama, go there that way, ask God for mercy, right? And finish it off for you, right? Right? Because the pshat is that the word kadosh means nivdal. Right? If you look in Rashi, right? Well, basically all the parshonim, the lashon of kedusha is separate, right? Like by Matan Torah, v'kidashtem esahar, right? Right. I mean that was the din of the Hagbolah, right? To cardon off the mountain. That's the sort of verb was v'kidashtem esahar, right? Sanctified mountain. It's off limits. It's nivdal. It's separate, right? The midah of kedusha, it's not a particular maisa. It's a state of being above and beyond. Above and beyond, what chol is. That's why it's also called nivdal. Right? It's separate. But if it's separate, that means there's no straight way to get there. Because if it's behind that door, then it's not really nivdal, right? It's just behind the door. It's not, or it's just at the top of the hill. It's not nivdal. It just means you gotta climb, right? But it's saying to be, it's a whole different league, above and beyond, right? And this is what this now you can understand, that the hevdela mahuti, right? That the other midas, rachum v'chanun, and all these things we could imitate, even if it's a tall order, because Rebbe is Rav Chesed, right? Right. So and maybe I'll never finish imitating all the chasodim that we see HaKadosh Baruch Hu does for his bria, but I can map it out. Maybe I won't get it done in my lifetime, but this is Zua Derech, the Chuba, like Reb Tzvi quoted the pasuk, one of the psukim that's the makor for it is Valachta B'drachav, go down that path. It's a path. Some people, conquer more of the path, some less. Kedusha is to change your state of being. It's not a course of action, right? It's not a regimen. It's to find yourself in a different state altogether. You need HaKadosh Baruch Hu to finish that off for you, right? You could try, but you're still on the same plane. No matter how fast you run, you're still running on the same flat earth. Right? To be elsewhere, be in a whole different dimension, now HaKadosh Baruch Hu has to finish off. Right? But HaKadosh Baruch Hu sees how earnestly you want it, so he'll make it happen for you. And now we can understand, right? Because no matter how high you climb Madrigas HaKedusha, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is Kedushasi L'mam Kedushim, refers to this inyan that his whole mitzias, God's whole reality, is a different reality than any of the bruim. And that's from our Ikrei Emunah, that he alone is Mechuyev HaMitzias. He's the one thing that must exist, and he's the one thing that's truly infinite and Ein Sof in any way. Right? That's what it means, because since Kedusha is a state of existence, so if you attain this higher state, there's no such thing as attaining my state of existence. So as HaKadosh was saying, Kedushasi Mam Kedushaskan is a synonym for saying, listen, I'm a Mechuyev HaMetzias, anything else other than me is a Nivra, not in the same league. I'm always going to be in a league on tomorrow. I'm always going to be Nivdo.
So then how does a person achieve any Kedusha at all?
Right, so it's like, we, right. So first of all, you're right, right. I mean, you're all right that even our Kedusha is B'siyat, right. So it's a gift from God. It is a gift from God. Right, that you can only stretch around, according from Ramchal. It's a gift from God, Kedusha. Now, you could strive and be, and be separate from your taivas and have your mind immersed in, it's study and prayer. But at the end, HaKadosh has to give it to you. If he doesn't give it to you, you're still the same person, just doing more. You're doing more, whether it's more mental exercise, more shviras amidas, but you're the same guy doing more. Kedusha is about being in a different state, a state that is nivdal from your current state. If it's a separate state, it's a different dimension, HaKadosh Baruch Hu has to take you there.
So how do you get him to take it?
Oh, so he sees, the Habola Tar Messiah, so other Mekash Somat, Mosifin Lo Kedusha Milmala. Many Chazals that talk about if you are, trying to purify or sanctify yourself, Shemaim kicks in. Right? So even our own Kedusha comes with Siyata Dishmaya, but you'll never catch up to God's Kedusha. Right? So now, the Madrega of Kedusha, right, which is the Madrega of Yaakovinu. Guys, come psukim in Tanakh refer to Kedosh Yaakov. And Kayadu the bracha and Shmona Esrei Ata Kadosh is connected. First bracha is Magad Avram is connected Avram Vinu. Ata Gibor is connected Yitzchak Avinu. Gvura. Ata Kadosh is connected Yaakov Avinu. Yaakov Avinu retained this level of Kadosh. Right, Kayadua. Right, and this midah of Tiferes, which is Kedusha, right, is also the midah of Torah, Kayadua. Right, and it's also the midah of Shabbos. These things are all called Kodesh. Kodesh. The Torah Kedusha, Shabbos, Kodesh. Right? All these things are, Shabbos is a little bit easier to understand, right? Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu said it's mine. It's matar the I'll give it to Am Yisrael. And a goy sheshavas chayiv misa, he's trespassing. Right? So, and that's why when we take out Shabbos, right, we say Hamavdil. Ben Koresh, it's Nivdal, Hamavdil, Ben Koresh L'chol, and that's Mamash Keneged Ben Or L'choshech Ben Yisrael L'amim. Am Yisrael, which is Kodesh, we have the Shabbos, Just like Shabbos is separate from all the other days, that's Havdalah. So we make Havdalah, right? So also, Am Yisrael, that Zochet to the Shabbos, is also Nivdal from Shara Amim. But it was, even that was a gift to Am Yisrael. Am Yisrael didn't even earn it, because it fits with what we just said in the name of Sil Shalom. Kedusha is a matana. You could do your best, but Kedusha is not an achievement, it's a gift. But you have to achieve a lot to be worthy of the gift. All right, that's Shabbos. All right? And this Madrega, right, is the Madrega.
Kedusha is how close you could get to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that's all. And the Kedusha emanates from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, so the more you can bring yourself into his circle, into his thing close, and you do by doing mitzvahs and by Santogim, whatever you do, you follow you get close to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he conveys the Kedusha to you.
Well,
that's what he said about his
if he gives it. Right.
I know, but the definition of Kedusha is like...
No, but you can't take it.
You can't have something Kedusha that doesn't emanate from HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
You have to
Because Baruch Hu is the source of Kedusha.
Right.
Possibly maybe Torah also, because Torah is through Torah.
Right.
Yeah, but I think the point is you have to start from the lowest part of Kedusha that you're able to achieve, and then that will grow when you're raising the level of Kedusha yourself, Messiah, so that you get more Kedusha available for you to go to the next level.
No, but I'm saying all Kedusha comes up.
Yeah.
Any.
Yeah, right.
You only get close to HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Yeah, so listen, he has
That's
to...
your mavdil, because by virtue of...
Yeah, absolutely. Now, so the Kedusha's from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and he has to give it to you. You could just try your best. It's not like, Tikkun HaMidas, which is in your hands. Ma'u Racham Afat Racham is in your hands. Just do it. It's hard work, but do it. Kedusha is something that's a gift from God. Like Shabbos Kodesh, a gift from God. Right? Like the Torah. Also, Matan Torah. It was a matana. It was a gift from God. Right? There is no way you can get, now again, there's a sort of Sadigon that says not this way, admittedly, in his Hakdama Te'emus V'des, but let's say like this, God would have not given the Torah, but God would have said like this, I'm going to give you an infinitely long life, figure it out. And you say, well, I can't figure everything out because, a man dies before he figures out half the mysteries of the universe in a fraction. You'll live forever, and you figure it out. Will we have ever drawn the same conclusions? You could live forever and just think and think and think. Take your time. Will we get up to the Madrega of Torah? Just through speculation,
Probably.
trial, error, to figure out all halacha from ourselves.
If you learn an infinite
From
amount of time,
ourselves.
if you have billions and billions of years, maybe
No.
you can try it out.
No way.
That's like spilling ink
Yeah.
and writing
So-
Shakespeare's Hamlet.
No problem.
How many
But you have an
times would
infinite
you
amount
have
of
this
time.
not infinite? Do you think it would
It's
ever
like-
come out?
It's also like trying to differentiate.
Yeah,
You would
one
never
drop
get. You would
in the
never get the
ocean
Torah
from another.
perfect. You'd never get the Torah perfectly. That's I hear.
No, you won't get the Torah at all.
Well, it's not totally random.
I can't
It's
say
based on-
enoshi. Can human intelligence?
Right.
Is the pshat? Is the pshat that probably you have to make a lot of calculations. No one lives that long, but if a man would live that long, he could calculate.
Could he invent the
Call it
world?
Tarkula.
If a man lived long enough, could he invent the world?
No.
Could he invent the world?
No, but
According to the
someone-
Goyim, yes.
Create the world?
Could someone figure
According to the
out?
Goyim, yes.
Could
Yeah,
someone
it's
see MS
infinite
in
knowledge.
every day? Could he see God in the world without the Torah? He's not, and it's not like you said before. It's a random bowel thing. No, we have our brain to use, and we have to see how is society being successful. We have billions of years. Can we figure it out?
No.
No,
Absolutely
because
not.
it's chokum, chukim, mishpatim. They're not logical. They're
Right.
not logical. You could write a
Put it this
question mishpat. You could write a question mishpat, and
Right.
we did.
What?
People did write it, and largely it comes from the human mind anyway. Question mishpat. Even though the basic principles are, but question mishpat is largely figured out ourselves. But kedusha, the whole idea of kedusha, too much Torah, we never figured that out. We never.
Just look around you.
It's beyond human intelligence.
The world as it is.
No, but the example I wanted to give you is Admas Kodesh. And when Moshe Rabbeinu approached Hakadosh Baruch Hu, he took off his shoes.
Right.
What do you mean Admas Kodesh? It was the earth. It was nothing. There's nothing about it. It wasn't Torah. It wasn't anything. It's just Hakadosh Baruch Hu's presence. It was close to Hakadosh
No, but
Baruch
that's
Hu.
why he had to take off his
By
shoes.
virtue of being close to Hakadosh Baruch Hu, connected
Yeah.
somehow to Hakadosh Baruch Hu, it became Admas Kodesh.
And it became nivdal, That's why you can't wear shoes, because shoes shows that you're connected to the earth. Shoes is our connector to the earth. Right?
And
No
it's like
shoes
a
means
chafetza.
not connected.
That's where the Arabs can take off their shoes in the mosque.
Yeah.
It's like something they don't understand.
They copied from us.
Yeah, they copy everything from us. That's
The
for sure.
Kohanim took off their shoes.
That takes that.
Everything they do, they
But
copy.
let's say that human being was able to understand all these things and be able to build upon. I mean, just look at what happens today. All the knowledge we have from the past, it's all been disputed every year again because people in the past made so many mistakes, and then what the calculations were that the future generation has to fix and rectify to be able to get to the next step. And part of education is building upon the past. So if a guy was alive infinite years, possibly you would understand that there was a God, and possibly you would understand that there was a creator, and that he created a book. But I don't think you would actually understand that there was what the book is, or able to actually read it and understand it, and create a physical understanding. I mean, just be looking around.
All right.
What's going on?
All right. Correct. MS.
Even though the others, it says, then we can't call it the
Yeah.
Adam should did not.
Right.
So they apparently did figure out certain things.
Yeah. So the question. Well, first of all, there's two answers to that. First of all, they didn't keep halacha as we know it totally, because Yaakov Avinu married two sisters.
Yeah, there's a whole questions about that.
Yeah, right. So they played by their own rules. They kept something like our Torah, but also there's a lashon chazal that Kosh made Avram Avinu's two kidneys like shnei rabbanim, v'yu melamdim moso Torah. He was at siyata d'shmaya, right? So, right? But Pashtus, I hope we could agree on this. It's not possible for the human mind to calculate the entirety of Torah. It's a gift from God. Right? It's the we go, we do as much as we can. At the end, it's up to God to give us the Torah. Right? So now, this is the inyan that we don't count the 50th day of the Yom. We don't count Shavuos. It's the actual day of Matan Torah. Right? Because as close as you get, with our Tikkun Amidus, and that's Kayadua, the 49 days of the Yom are Gematria Leiv Tov, that Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai praised Rabbi Elazar Barach that Leiv Tov is the midah that's koilo all the midas. Right? It's called Mida Nechaya.
That's when you shave. When the labor is over and the tov begins, that's when you're allowed to take a shave.
Right? Right? Leiv Tov. Right? So when we reach, so that's all the good midas. That's all the Ma'u Rachum, Mafatar Rachum, Ma'u Chanun, etc. Right? But Matan Torah is still above that all. Torah is not one more. The Indian that we find that the 50th is called Kedusha, V'Kidash Shnasa Chamishim, sanctify the 50th year, which is Yovel. Right? The Kedusha, it's Nivdal, like we said. It's not one more, it's a whole different dimension. It's called the 50th because our dimension ends at 49, so it's called the 50th. But it's not really plus one, as if it's on the same plane, just add one more. It's a whole different, so you can't really count it. It's not part of the count. It's not one more, it's infinitely more. Right? That's the Madrega of Rishon Torah. Right? And that's the Madrega of Kedusha. Right? So now, getting back to marriage. Right? So the Gemara says, right, that Kiddushin is the Asala al Kuli Alma Kehegdish. Why Kiddushin? So it says the Asala al Kuli Alma Kehegdish. Right, because he asked her on the whole world like Hektish. He made her off limits. How is that? Made her off limits. So Tosfos asked the Kasha, if that's the case, so Harayat Mekudesh should mean you are usher unto me.
I remember that.
Right? So Tosfos says, you know what? It also means something else. Miuchedes, mizumenes, special for me. As in meaning it's almost the opposite. It means off limits, but also means special for me. Right? So ask Tosfos the following kasha halacha l'maaseh. A guy walks into a store, right?
And that's why you say Mekudesh is li. That's why you say Mekudesh. If you said Harayat Mekudesh, I would ask everybody. And when you say li, means everybody else but me, except me.
Right. So let's fear. So Tosfos goes on and says, if that's the case, that means miyuchad li u'mezuman li. Is it a good lashon by kinyonim? Could a guy say, give a kesef shtar or chazaka or chalipin for a field, and say sadcha mekudeshes li, or the Meicher says sadi mekudeshes lecha? Is it a good lashon of kinyan? Or could either side back out and say it's just bluffing? No one marries a field. That's also the kind. Because if it means miyuchad mezuman, it should be a good lashon of kinyan.
Different dynamic. You can have shulchan.
Oh, so that's what Tosfos says. Tosfos says no, it's different by Kedushin because it's a double-edged sword. That which makes her usher for everyone else is why she's special for me. That's what makes her special for me. The fact that she's usher al kuli alma kehegdish. Right? Putting the Isra Ashes Ish on her, putting her off limits, is what makes her special to me. Which is not shach by the Kiddushin, by Kinyonim. So you own it or you don't own it. So that that's right, right. So what's the shot? What's Tosfos saying in the Amkus of it? That of course Kedusha means separate, but of course Kedusha also means special, right? Because when something is separate, it is special, right? So when we when we attain a level of Kedusha, we have separated ourselves from Chulin, but on the other hand, we've become close, and miyuchad u'mezumin to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We become an Am Kadosh, and that's why we're worthy of Shabbos Kodesh, right? Because that the being separate is what makes special. It creates union, right? By being repelling everything else. The repulsion to everything else, binds us.
So that's why this Nilsa is not allowed, because she's not special to me. There's nothing special. There's no kedusha, no anything. And that kind of is like an opposite.
Right. So it goes out that kedusha creates a special bond. That being separate is what makes us special. Matan Torah, right, which has reached the level of kedusha that separate us from the rest of the world. That's when Am Yisrael became Kodesh. and became separated from the rest of the world. That's why Har Sinai Shiarat Sina La'akum. Har Chorev Shiarat Churba La'akum. It was the destruction of the Goyim. We became separated from them. Right? And we were separated from them, and Miyuchad for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Miyuchad for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Right? And so now this expresses itself in the Torah itself. Right? There's a very interesting duality in Torah. Is Torah owned by anybody? No, it's Morasha Kilas Yaakov. Like we said, it belongs to all Klal Yisrael. Right? And yet, it's a Talmud Chacham Shemochal Kvodo Kvodo Mochul. So the Gemara asks why. It's Torah delay. Right? Excellent. Right? Kedoshim Daf Lamed Beis. It's his Torah. He could be Mochel on his covenant. It's his Torah to be Mochel. Right? What was it? But it's it belongs to Am Yisrael. Right? And yet Torah delay. Right? It's this it's very interesting duality. And that's what another Chazal that some Amoritz was bothering Rav Yanai. And he said, "What do you want from me? Leave me alone." He says, "No, Yerusai Gaboch, my Yerusha's by you." I said, "Why?" Well, you talk about it and still your Yerusha. He says, "Yeah, because you have the Torah. Morasha Kilas Yanai lo ne'emar, ela Morasha Kihilas Yaakov. You have my Yerusha, because Torah belongs to everybody." Right? That's very interesting. Morasha Milashim Morasa, we spoke about that Chazal, and Kihilas Yaakov. Yaakov was Zocher Madreg of Kedusha. Right? There's that the Kedushas HaTorah, right? Right? Torah can't belong be'etzem to an individual. Right? It can't belong to an individual. So what's in Torah delay? We can explain that in a second. Right? Torah cannot belong to an individual. Right? An individual is finite. Right? The end of Kedusha, it's something beyond, right? It's something, so like we said, the 50th is not part of the count. Right? So, Achdus, and Am, that's not one more. That's not the sum of the parts. That's a concept already. A nation is a concept. It's not a conglomerate of individuals. It's a concept. A tzibur becomes a concept. Right, that's above and beyond the sum of the parts. Because once we become a nation, all the generations are nichla in that. That's why we have a halacha in a carbon tzibur. She'ain tzibur mesim. A tzibur doesn't die. Because all the generations that ever was, that ever will be, they're all part of that tzibur. So there's no such thing as a carbon tzibur shemesa ba'alav, because it's not owned by individuals, even if that whole generation died. It belongs to the Am. It belongs to all the nations, everyone, because Torah is something from the beyond. You can't give it to individuals, even a lot of individuals. It has to be given to a nation. It's a morasha. It's for all generations. It's not the individual that's here today and in the kever tomorrow. It's like Yerusha she'en lo hefsek. So it belongs to the nation. It belongs to an Am. Right? And the Am is not a conglomerate of individuals. It's a whole that's beyond the sum of the parts. Right? So Torah that's from the beyond can't be given to people on earth. It has to be given to an Am. It's it's a body that's not just a physical body. It's a concept, a timeless concept. Right? So what does it mean in Torah delay? Right? Is that the pshat is like this, right? And this is what's true in marriage, and this is what's true in nationhood, a real nationhood, which it's the Torah that actually makes us a nation, like the famous, it's Vayichan Sham Kishachad Belevecha. The Torah unified us in the lashon of Sadyagon Ein Amenu Umel B'Toraso. But what's true about the oneness of a nation and the oneness of marriage is not the pshat that the whole is a melting pot of the individuals. No. It's something higher. It's something kadosh, something beyond. It's not the pshat, well, you have the separate individuals, and you put them in a melting pot. And everyone loses some of his individuality, and they melt it down to some type of common denominator. Right? That's not the pshat. Everyone retains their individuality, Everyone retains their individuality, right? And you bring all that into the whole, which is greater than the sum of the parts. So everyone's going to have his own daya in Torah, right? But the Torah is not going to belong to the Torah itself. Is not going to belong to any single one of them in particular, right? And that means that the Metzias of Torah is going to be greater than the sum of all the different dayas belonging to a nation, right? But that's the godless. That being part of a nation should not mean surrendering your individuality. Right? There's be a way to hold on to it, right? And yet, work towards a greater whole, and the greater whole is not a melting pot of the components. It's a higher dimension. It's a higher dimension altogether. Right? And that's what it is in marriage. It's not supposed to be a melting pot between two individuals. Right? She's supposed to remain a woman, he's supposed to remain a man, each one with their own daya, right? Ezer, but connecto, like Chazal Darshan, Zoch, Ezer, also connecto, but that means she always has the potential to have her own daya. Right? And their achdus should be not a melting pot, their achdus should be something kadosh. Something from the beyond. I'm not saying from here it's a melting pot. I'm saying from the beyond, it means they retain their individuality, and what binds them together is something holy. That's why it's called Kedoshim. That's why Zachu Shechina Shruya Benem, God Himself holds them together. Right? Lo Zachu Eish Ochaltam, because they retain their individuality. So if they're Zoche to the higher dimension of Kedusha, i.e. Kedoshim, Lashon Kedusha, and that's what's going to be the bond. What Asr is what's going to make her special for him, because they're Zoche to the unity comes from the beyond, so that's how they retain their individuality, and that's also what it means, Shechina Shruya B'neihem, right? And that's in the process for Matan Torah. Everyone has to work, right, towards his own understanding and his own shleimus, but he also has to, without sacrificing that, be willing to incorporate himself in the Morasha Kilas Yaakov. Right? And that was, as it were, the mistake of Talmidei Rabbi Akiva. Right? That during the first 32 days, they died. Shlo Nagu Kavod Zelazeh, because each one was into his Torah delay. So, listen, I'm sure they weren't rude, but still they were into their own Torah delay. Right? What happened after Lag Bomer, that Pasku Lamus, that they're Zochet to the Chaim of Torah, in the Lashon Lamara, because they were first on the left side. First 32 days of the Yom is Gematria Kavod. They're into their own Kavod, Umismola Oshev Kavod. But on Lag Bomer, which always comes out on Orechai, Chai-Ir, Orechai, they were Zochet to the Orech Yomim Bimina. They moved from the left side to the right side. From the Kavod of Torah, every Talmud Chacham has his own kavod, and he could be Mochan's kavod. It's my kavod. No longer kavod zelazeh. He was into his own kavod because he's into the Torah delay aspect. But Lag BaOmer, there's Zocha to the Chaim of the Torah. Life is indivisible. The life force of the Torah. You can't be half alive. If you're half alive, you're 100% dead. Right? There's Zocha to the Chaim of Torah. The Chaim of Torah, which is that's like the life force of Torah, which is life force is indivisible, right? Which is connected to Morasha Kilas Yaakov. Right? And that's it. That's the duality that we're working towards, and that's why this year Parshas Kedoshim comes out during the week of Tiferes, which is the midah of Yaakov Avinu, who was Zocha to the Madreg of Kadosh, right? And by the way, there's another person that was Zocha to the Madreg of Kodesh, that was Rabbeinu HaKodesh, Rabbi Yehuda Nasi, and it's very interesting, the Medrash in Parshas Vayechi darshans parallels between Yaakov Avinu and Rabbi Yehuda Nasi. Yaakov Avinu Lones, right? And Rabbi Yehuda Nasi used to come back even after he died every Shabbos to make Kiddush, right? And Rabbi Yehuda Nasi said, this is why it's a Medrash Parshas Vayechi, Vayechi Yaakov Beretz Vayim Shvas Reishana. Rabbi Yehuda Nasi said, V'chaya Yehuda B'tzipori Shvas Reishana. It was very big in Yonim, because then he was writing the Mishnah, which is what keeps us alive in the Golas. Like Yaakov Avinu, Ma'azaro B'chaim, Afu B'chaim. Rabbeinu HaKodesh gave us the Mishnah that keeps us going in the Golas. Big in Yonim. So we read Parshas Kedoshim, which talks about the duality of Kedusha. Kedoshim Tiyu. try to attain it. But always remember, Kedusha is something from the beyond. Right? And there's nothing more beyond than God himself. It's something from the beyond. It's a challenge. It's a challenge. The Kedusha challenge.
Out to Hitchcock,
What?
Mystery.
or beyond.
Right. Way beyond. Right? And it comes up during the week of Tiferes, which is the central week of the Sphira. Right? And this is the whole end of the Sphira. We're trying, step by step by step. But on the last day is a jump. It's not one more. That's why we don't count the last day. But we're striving for that. We're hoping for that. And there's a certain breakthrough, at least in getting the perspective straight from Lag BaOmer, right, where we sort of break through, and we get to the Or HaKlali, the Or HaKlali that Kedusha gives. What?
Still says Tisbuk Habishimyon.
Right. So we are, and we don't, because we
Have you ever answered that?
We can't.
You
You
count
gave
up.
me a reason, right?
You can't.
The
You-
Pasuk says it.
yeah, it says it, but you can't.
The Pasuk
It's
says
impossible
it.
because 50 doesn't represent 49 plus 1. 50 represents infinitely more. It's called the 50th because after 49, but it's not one more.
So after,
It's impossible.
after
it's impossible to
49,
count.
you reach the dimension, which is the 50th,
You reach the edge. You reach the edge of our dimension.
which is
But you reach the edge of the dimension. You still don't move to the next dimension by taking one more step.
you're already in the next dimension.
Aha, you got us to take you there.
Right. Not
But
as
by coming, you could reach the 50th.
It's not that you follow.
No, I know,
It's almost
understand
easier.
that, but by defining all the Kedusha, you might be taken there.
Except the Shema.
Right, but why is it called Tispru? Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives you credit as if you counted it. Because if you are mishtadel to the point that you're worthy for God to give you the gift, He'll give you all the credit, as if you got it yourself. Okay, thank you for coming.
It's interesting.